The agreement between the federal government and the region of Niagara is part of a federal funding investment providing $250 million through the Unsheltered Homelessness and Encampments Initiative known as UHEI. The investment was intended as a tool to coordinate matching funds throughout provinces and territories to address encampments throughout the country.
We've reached a deal with 8 out of the 10 provinces to match funding. So this is a $250 million federal program that should, if you have matching partners, becomes a $500 million program. Fortunately, the province of Ontario did not sign on to this program, and so we have an excellent municipality that understands the crisis in the regional municipality of Niagara, who's matching the funding. But instead of an $8 million announcement, this could be a $12 million announcement, and you can see where that goes. And Premier Ford says there's a housing crisis, but when we look at provincial action, I don't see that urgency, unfortunately.
Two things. One is that we're going to recognize that the services that are going to be provided will be provided. And what I mean by that is that the region depends on taxpayers' money, property taxes, in some cases, in other areas when it comes to capital water bills. And what we're doing here is we're eliminating that financial burden on the property taxpayer and, in some cases, the water bills, simply because it's coming in from the federal government. That's point number one. Point number two is, with that money, they can now actually provide the services with different agencies with regional housing. Niagara right now is about 8% down in homelessness, which is an anomaly throughout the region of Niagara, or throughout the province of Ontario. And there's a lot of people that should be given credit for that here at the region, of course, in this building, but all the agencies that work with folks here at the region, that work together, work extremely hard to make sure they put a dent in homelessness and everything else that goes along with it. There's many other issues that are attached to that: mental health, addiction, and the list goes on. And I give the region a lot of credit for dealing with each and every issue. But also what's key is that the different agencies aren't duplicating the services, which then allows us to spread the money out when those applications are being made at the federal level of government, which we've done here today, and we continue to do, and we have in the past. And as well is that they're able to actually deliver more services, actually attaching to all the issues that people are going through on a daily basis here throughout Niagara.
To support immediate housing needs, the federal government has invested over $36.5 million through the Reaching Home Fund through the Designated Community Stream and the Rapid Housing Initiative Fund through the Indigenous Stream of over $17 million.
We had both our co-chairs of the Public Health and Social Services Committee here today for this announcement. And it does have an effect on health, quite obviously. One of the real determinants of health is housing, is do people have a home? It makes a huge difference for people. We're trying to get as many of those available for people as possible. The shelters are short-term. They're not the long-term solution. They are needed, and we have shelters now for people, and those shelters are not full, but certainly they're close to it. And that really does help in the short term. The longer term, you need supports for people. You need actual permanent housing. That's the big difference. And that's I hear the term housing first, and that should be a term that all of us adhere to.
In Thorold, for The Source, I'm Metade.